Hey, what's up guys, Tony here, and what you're watching is some more iRacing, but this is not a race and it's not practice, it's actually a time trial. And the reason why I'm doing a time trial is because I have watched my iRating plummet. I mean, just completely plummet since I went on that spinning spree a few weeks back, or maybe it was a week ago. You know, and I bought the 4 cars that I talked about in my last video, and I discovered what the problem was. Is when I first got in iRacing, all I had was the Miata. I mean, I had access to other cars, but I really just drove the Miata because I want to do road racing, and it's really the only car you can use besides the Solstice once you get to a certain safety rating, rookie safety rating. I think it's like a 3 or something like that. So I watched my safety rating peak. It was like over, I think it was like 3, probably was a 3 or thereabouts, a 3, and it peaked at that. And then after I bought these cars, my iRating has just like plummeted, just terribly plummeted. And I couldn't figure out why. I was like, why is it plummeting? And then I discovered why, because what I've been doing is because I bought 4 cars, I felt it necessary to actually race all 4 cars. And so I have yet to actually get proficient in any one of those cars. I just sort of, I'll go one night, and this is sort of what happens. And I've learned this lesson the hard way now, so if you're getting to iRacing, I'm going to try to impart some knowledge on you. But what I did is one night I jumped on and I decided I'm going to race with the Mustang. So I spent a good hour practicing with the Mustang. I raced the race, and you know, I had a mediocre time because I spent only an hour racing with the Mustang. And then after that, I was like, you know what, let's race the Jetta. So I went to the Jetta, and I was like, oh, well, let's go race the Optima. So I raced the Optima. And I tried racing the Skip Barber car, but I kept spinning out. It's just a really difficult car to control. The other, like, I don't know, it was 2 nights ago or something like that, I raced the Skip Barber, and it was just 3 people on the race and myself. And I had 27 incidences in like 20 minutes. I spun out a lot. And after practicing for probably about an hour in Skip Barber, and finally like getting the track down, and then just like I just shit the bed when it came to like the race itself. There was only 3 of us, and I was guaranteed 3rd place, and I ended up I found a way to not only get lapped, but I found a way to crash my car with absolutely no pressure behind me. It's a talent, I tell you, it's a talent. So anyways, what I started to lament was the fact that my iRating was just, or my safety rating was just plummeting, and the lowest it got to today, and actually I jumped back into the Miatas because I was like, okay, you know what, I just need to go complete some races and just get my iRating back up, because I'm really concerned about that. Because I don't know about you guys, but I'm really concerned about, and I don't know, maybe unjustly or unwarranted, but I guess I have this need for people to know that I'm good at something, and your safety rating is a way of showing like, hey, you're good at this. And if you have a low safety rating, that means you crash a lot, you go off the track a lot, you're just a dangerous driver. And I don't want people to look at me when I'm getting into a race and they take a look at, you know, who's racing. I don't want them to go like, oh crap, this guy's gonna crash into me, because I pride myself on driving as clean as I can and not running into people, because it's frustrating to get someone to run into you when someone runs into you. So I want to make sure to get my iRating up, or my safety rating. I keep saying iRating, but my safety rating up to a point where it's back up over 2, so I don't look like a complete douche. I mean, even at 2, you're just kind of like, well, you know, you're not a 3, so, you know, but you're not below 2s. Like I'm 2. Like I was at 1.12 after the race that I had with the Miata. I was on Lime Rock, and what happened was I didn't qualify, and I got put dead last. And so I made my way up through the pack, and I went to like turn coming out of turn 2, and I got hit, went right into the wall. Just guy bumped me from behind. I spun out, crashed in the wall. You know, I had to wait for 2 minutes or whatever when my car was getting towed, and then I popped out of there, and I was just like out like a bat out of hell, just like boom, shot out of a cannon. And my goal was to just race not as hard as I could, but just race to catch up and really prove that I wasn't, you know, this shit driver that got put into the wall. And I ended up crashing another time because I took a turn too steeply and I spun out. It was turn 2, the infamous turn 2 for me. And I spun out, and so I was just like, damn it. And so instead of actually sitting around and waiting for, you know, another 2 minutes to get repaired, I decided, you know, I'm disconnecting. Screw this. Like, it was just, You know, it was over. You know, and usually I'm the kind of guy that I stick with the race all the way through, but I disconnected, and that probably sent my safety rating just plummeting down. So I went from whatever it was to 1.12, and I was like, crap, okay, well, and I started practicing on this track, the Autodromo, I think it's Jose Carlos Pace Grand Prix or something like that. So anyways, it's in Sao Paulo. Sao Paulo? Yeah, I think it's Sao Paulo. Anyways, so it's in Brazil, and I was racing it, and I was racing like, I don't know, I was doing just a practice. So I was like, okay, I'm going to dedicate myself to one car. It's a Mustang. I'm going to dedicate myself to this car, and that's it. I'm going to do the Mustang. That's it. And maybe I'll sprinkle in some Miata, but for the most part, it's like Mustang will be my car from here on out. And so I watched this guy just run this course like it was nothing. He was running a 151, and I was running 159s, and so I watched him race a couple of laps. And so I did my best to emulate the turns that he as best as I could, and so I dropped my time down to I was like 157, and then the time trial was 156. So this gets me on to my point. Why did I decide to do the time trial? I decided to do the time trial because, one, it's practice, and it's no one else is on here, so you can just practice. And I'm getting to that point where, back when I was a baseball player, I used to be like, practice, oh, I hate practice. And coaches, of course, were like, practice makes perfect. Practice makes perfect. Practice how you will play. And I used to be kind of lazy about that. You know, I mean, I put my effort into practice, but I just like, it wasn't the same. Never felt the same as a game, you know, with the pressure, you know, the adrenaline running. And that's the way that I feel about practice in iRacing. And that's the way I feel about time trial and iRacing. Time trial has a little bit more pressure, because you got to get through 5, at least on this track, you get through 5 laps without, you know, having an incident. If you have an incident, you got to start all over again. So there's a little bit of pressure to stay on the track. So I drove a little bit more conservatively than I think I would have otherwise in a race. But more than that, I was just trying to get the lines down. So anyways, to get back to what I was saying, it's not only practice, but your safety rating goes up. So if you go off track, it affects your safety rating. So if you stay on track, your safety rating goes up. So after this time trial, my safety rating skyrocketed from 1.12 all the way up to 1.62 or something like that. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm doing time trials. I don't care if people like don't think they're all that worth, but I'm going to do it because it's going to bump my safety rating up, and it's going to be good practice for me to maintain the discipline to stay on the track, and that's really what I'm after, you know. And I sort of got to this idea that, you know, like I thought that I was gonna get fast, like exponentially fast, but I realized that this is a very, very hard racing simulator, and it's gonna take me a lot of time and a lot of practice. And especially since I just bought this new wheel last week and I barely used it, my expectations are way too high for where I should be, you know, now that I've incorporated not only a new wheel that has different force feedback, but also a clutch and an H-box shifter, and also, depending on the car, the sequential shifter. So I'm trying to get used to new cars, new tracks, a new wheel, and my expectations are through the roof when they shouldn't be. Even racing the Mazda is tricky because it's a whole new car, and for whatever reason, I don't seem to get that. I kind of seem that. It was funny because I was practicing earlier today, and I was just like, oh, I should be able to race like a 1 minute flat now with my new wheel. I should, you know, I could feel the road, and I felt like I was driving really fast. So when I actually went back and I checked my records, I had faster lap times with my old wheel than the new wheel. So I felt that I was racing the track so fast. I was like, this is the fastest I've ever raced the track. And it wasn't. It was close, but it wasn't the fastest I've ever been around Lime Rock. So anyways, so that's why I'm doing the time trial, so just in case you guys are curious. And I'm sorry it's kind of boring, but I thought it was kind of necessary to show you guys. The other thing I want to talk about is my PlayStation. So my mom came into town, and for those of you guys who don't know, my mom and both my parents actually live in Ohio, and my mom flew out for my graduation, and so she's gonna be staying here for the summer. Actually, I thought she was gonna be staying for a couple of weeks, but she's staying for 2 months. And so what I had to do is, if I wanted to continue to game on my PlayStation, I had to move it out of my TV room. The problem with that is I have an HDMI to DVI connector, but that means now I have no way of recording PlayStation 3 footage. And so I really wanted to get on and do some Battlefield. I haven't played Battlefield in God, months. It's been months since I played Battlefield. And more importantly, I wanted to do more baseball related stuff, but the problem is now I have no way of recording my baseball stuff. So I'm thinking I'm going to try to pick up a PCI card, something I can record actually have like pass-through video go through, so I can actually have it come into my computer and record on the card, so I can actually record PS3 footage and get it out, put it out, because without it, I can't do anything. There's absolutely nothing that I can do about, you know, getting PS3 footage down. So anyways, that's pretty much it. Just sort of to recap, you know, I'm working on getting my safety rating up, or yeah, my safety rating up, because it sort of went in the tank because I was trying out all those different cars. But what I want to do is, I think I mentioned this once before, what I would love to do is sort of give my impressions about the cars that I purchased, and I'm going to start working on gathering footage for that. And the first one I'm going to do is Mustang, because I'm a huge Ford fan. I'm a big Mustang guy, and I love this car. I really do. It's tricky to drive because I'm not, you know, I went from the Mazda to this tonight, and it was like, okay, this is like so much more torque. You know, you got to really feather the throttle more than, of course, the Mazda. But there are other cars. I really enjoy the cars that I purchased. Even the Jetta. I'm not even a big fan of the Jetta, but I still actually like to drive it. So I'm gonna do my best to get all that stuff to you guys. And then my time will actually free up after Saturday, of course, which will be nice. So that way I can actually put out hopefully a video a day back to my old schedule. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and I shall talk to you guys later.